And welcome back to the Bible Study Girl podcast. This is Sarita. You probably know me as Bible Study Girl, and that first voice you heard was the executive producer of this podcast, Bible Study Brother.
What's good, people? It is I, Bible Study Brother, also known as Icarus Gray over at Gray Area Anime, and this is the most wonderful podcast of your day. Go and listen to Icarus Gray on all your streaming platforms. My new music, I promote that every week because it's good, positive Christian music. So I think you should listen.
Okay, brother, this week you were uncharacteristically short with your self-promotion and your big upping. And I think it's because today is a very special episode of the Bible Study Girl podcast. I thought you were playing it. Oh, you're fading. Okay. It's a very special episode of the Bible Study Girl podcast. This is episode 99. And I'm sure you've heard the song. I'm shooting for 100, 99 and a half won't do. So we're shooting for 100. This is the last podcast of the second season of the Bible Study Girl podcast. So we're super, super excited. And the stars aligned. The Lord saw fit for us to gather today for a very, very special episode. This is the Bible Study Girl episode of the Bible Study Girl podcast. Now, if you are new to the podcast and you haven't been listening, you might be like, what's a BSG? What's a Bible Study Girl? What does that mean exactly? The Bible Study Girls are a group of ladies that I had Bible study with maybe 10 years ago we started. I think it was like 10 years ago. It's been a long time. We talked about it on the last time the ladies were on the podcast. So 10 years ago, I sent out an email, I think, and we started with, I think, a healthy number of women, and over time the number shrank and we got down to a core group of 6. The last time I tried to get the BSGs on the podcast, let me tell you, it's like pulling teeth. I got... we were missing 2, but today we're all on here. Everybody that's on this side of heaven is all on the podcast. So I'm excited to share this platform with them. I'm excited for them to get a chance to talk to you guys a little bit about their stories and just for you to hear about some of our experiences. It's a very, very exciting time. And so I'm just going to go introduce them one by one. We do have another member that's gonna hop on a little bit later, but you guys are gonna be thrilled. I feel it right here in my heart. So I'll go ahead and I'll get started. First, I'm gonna see one thing that's special about the Bible Study Girls. We're a group of 6. We had 2 ladies whose names started with C's, 2 ladies whose names started with T's, and 2 ladies whose names started with S's. So I'm going to start with my S counterpart. She's probably like, dang it, don't start with me, but I am. My S counterpart is Sinitra. Sinitra, welcome to the Bible Study Girl podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, guys.
I am excited to have you here. So thankful that you decided to hop on today. So next we'll go to the T's. Tomica is not here in person with us. She's in heaven. So she was 1 T and the other T is on the way. So we'll save her. I don't know why I went TT. I guess because Tomica was on my brain. Joe is shoulder shrugging. He's like, I don't know. So then we'll go to our C's. I'll do them in alphabetical order, so you can calm down, sister. Our first C up on the docket is Felicia.
Well, thank you, guys.
Hi, Felicia. Welcome to the podcast, girl.
Thank you for having me. So happy to be celebrating 99 podcasts. And for all you ladies, I couldn't believe it when you said it, about 10 years of just friendship. That is amazing.
It is, especially for women. And I know that's like
Yes.
a stereotype, but it is the real truth.
It's amazing.
It is. Thanks for coming, friend. You're always a willing and available and happy. And I love that about you.
Maybe 5 minutes late, but
But you came, friend, you came. Okay, and so for the last C, drum roll, please. This is actually her second time on the Bible Study Girl podcast, but I'm going to tell y'all, I never thought she would come the first time. So this is like a listen. We got to take it while we can. The last C is Chantel. Hey, girl, welcome back.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So glad you made it back, Shani Lou. Oh, y'all, guess what? I didn't even get through my introduction. Good. And my friend showed up. Girl. We are so glad to have you. The last T, we had our 2 T's. I talked about Tomica, and our other T is Toya. Toya, tell the people hi.
Hi.
It's so good to see you. We're so glad you made it. So the gang's all here.
It's good to see y'all too. I need to change. Oh, there we go. Hey guys. Oh, hey y'all.
Hey. It's good to see. Hey, Ian.
I am old.
I know I feel old. Ian was a little baby. I still had that picture of him and Tomica. He's on the blanket, on the quilt. Now
He
look,
is taller than I am. He wants to come be nosy really fast. He's trying to see what I was rushing in the house to do. He's gone.
So it's so good to see you. So good to
Y'all
see
too.
All right, guys. Let's see how we're gonna get this thing started. I don't know. I think maybe if anybody wants to share, we talked about this a little bit last time for those that were on the podcast last time. But if anyone wants to share, actually, I'm going to change my question. I think I didn't write this question down, but I'm curious. It just came to mind. What did you think, if you can remember back that far, what did you think after our first meeting together, after the first Bible study session? Did you think it was something that you would want to continue to do? Something you were like, oh, I think I want to give this another chance? Was it like a natural thing for you, or was it something you struggled to come to a second time? I'm asking that question because the first time that we met, there were a lot of different people. It wasn't just us that met. And so they went on. And I think that's a natural part of life. You know, you go somewhere, you have an experience, and you figure out that's not for you. So you go do something new and different. So I'm curious if you can remember back that far, because that was, like I said, 10 years ago, your thoughts after the first Bible study, like, oh, this is something cool, something I could continue, or I'm not sure about coming back next week.
May help if you.
I think the Lord is working on.
If you dip in the water and you want to start with yourself and say what you felt, and then
I will definitely dip my toe in the water. Thank you, brother, for producing me. I'll definitely dip my toe in the water. I think after my first Bible study session with everybody that came, I was relieved that it was over. I was glad that I did it, and I think I walked away feeling like it was going to be okay. Now, at that point, to me, it was like, you know, we get through this Bible study and we're going to get through this Bible study. Like, that was my mindset at that point. Like, as long, because I think the first Bible study was maybe like 12 weeks. Like, yeah, I can give this a good 12. I can see my way through this first Bible study session. So I think that's where my head was. Now, of course, my feelings grew and changed as we met, but I'm just curious to see what other people think.
Well, I will say, I was definitely
excited because me personally, I'm not a super Christian in the least. I never have been. I used to strive to be one. But over probably even before 10 years ago, I'd honestly be willing to say at least 20 years now. I definitely still to this day don't strive to be a super Christian. I just kind of take it day by day. God knows my heart. You know, we hear that all across the world. Everybody loves to say it, but it's true. He knows my heart. He knows what he created. He knows that I love him and his word and his angels and whatnot. But Bible study was going to force me to do what I felt like I needed to do at the time, and that was be more in the word. And I appreciated you for creating the Bible study group. And I definitely learned a lot through being forced to study the
Forced
Bible.
every week. Dang it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Sinitra. You know, you say you were not a super Christian, but baby, let me tell y'all something about me and Sinitra. So we grew up together. Our names are very similar. And because we were always together, people started like we were one person. And still to this day, like if I hear her name, I will respond to her name just because I'm so used to people calling me by her name. It was, you know, like, yeah, we one person. But I would say as teenagers, of the two of us, Sinitra loved the Lord more. She was committed. I remember Sinitra.
Carry on.
100.
Sinitra, don't you remember that?
100.
Huh?
That's true.
It's true. Sinitra, don't you remember the time you got mad at me because she played me a gospel song and I said it was okay?
Yes, I do. Okay. Next person.
Like, oh, just okay. Like she got mad for real. So
Yeah, I remember.
So of the two of us, like I was like, Nitra's on fire for the Lord. And I love him, but I don't love him like she does. But I feel like that's just a sign of like how things grow and how we change and how we mature and how we see our relationship with Christ and what it looks like, you know, over time. But yes, friend, like I would feel bad. I would be like, I don't think I love him like she do.
You do. You definitely do. He knows.
So anybody else want to share? I'm not gonna, you know. Oh,
Well,
okay.
Felicia talking here. So we're talking about our first experience with the BSG
Right.
Bible study series. I will say that Toya invited me and was like, I'm telling you, these girls that I do know, they're really great and you're going to love them. And, you know, just come on. So, you know, I'm usually down for new experiences. And I will say that I am much like Sunita in terms of I don't view myself as a super traditional type of Christian. And so I will be honest. I'd say the first couple, it was a little awkward and was like, am I coming back? Maybe, maybe not. But then I was like, I'm really close to Toya. Toya's gonna, Felicia, you're gonna hold me accountable. Like you got the book, so you need to come on. You need to hold me. And then I would say that as the group started to trickle down and people started to be more honest, because you know it's a difference, and especially I grew up within the Baptist church setting, and so in most traditional churches you don't hear those types of just people being honest and giving their testimony and even given the opportunity to speak. You know, growing up in a traditional Baptist church, it's mostly the elders, so you don't get to hear younger people that take the time to talk about the things they're going through, their opinion on scripture, you know. So it was great. A little rough at first, but so happy that I stuck through.
Thank you, Felicia, for sticking through. I'm with you, friend. It was a little like I'm gonna be able to get through this study. We're gonna see where we're gonna be able to make it through this. Go ahead, Chantel. You had said you was gonna say something. I'm still looking at you, girl. I saw you with your Baptist finger up. Go ahead, Chantel.
I was just going to reiterate what Felicia and Sinitra said, which was same thing for me. I was looking forward to it when you know, invited me to the Bible study because it was something that I needed. I knew it was something that I needed for my personal life, personal spiritual growth, because I was not studying the Bible by myself like I needed to. So I knew it was going to be a push for me. I also looked forward to the fact that now this is probably not surprising because my memory's not good. I don't remember anybody other than the core six. So, um, but I was looking forward to the fact that I was going to be studying the word, like Alicia was saying, with my peers, people of my age group, because typically you go to church or Bible study, who you saw in there were elder people that you really couldn't relate to, kind of Bible thumpers. And I was glad that we were in a setting that seemed more real and transparent. So
Thank you so much for sharing, friend. I will share with you, Toya, in our pre-meeting. Nobody has to answer any questions they don't want to ask. Um, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because we're recording about one of my friends, but I'll tell you after after press record. So it's good to hear from y'all. And really, I think like one of the main things that I love so much about our Bible study is that we were able to get to a point where we're very transparent with each other and that it was not, I know this is what I'm supposed to say. I think that was one of my struggles with starting a Bible study. And one of my pushes was I knew I needed to study the Bible, and it wasn't something I was doing on my own at all, not on a regular basis. I would go to church, but I felt a void and I felt like I was missing out on something. And so I'm thankful that you ladies answered the call and that we were able to create a community where we could really talk about real life and what's really going on, and not in a churchy way, but like in a real way. Like, this is what's up with me and this is what it is. And so you got to deal with it. Okay, so
As one
before
of the
we
original members, I just knew that the food was going to be amazing, and thank you guys. You fed me so many times after I get off
that's all
work. It was amazing. Like, it was a
I
blessing
thought you was gonna
to nourishing
I
in the
thought
spirit.
you was gonna fade into the shadows.
In the
And
shadows,
see, I'm
okay.
gonna tell you, I had told him before we ever started, I was like, you was not gonna be able to sit here and just listen to this whole podcast. It ain't in you, bro. Like, you got words. Like, you always got something you want to say. But I'm grateful for my brother.
Well, honestly, I'll say this just to get my gushy stuff out the way. So for me, it's not like when you bring people into our home and things of that nature, you never bring somebody that's an associate. They may start that way, but anybody you've brought into the home is family for us. And so for me, I end up with so many sisters, and I've always ended up with bigger family that cares and is happy and laughs and jokes and understands us. So that was one of the great spiritual things that I think we all want, and I think that we all have to kind of start trying to do, because the thing y'all did with y'all Bible study was not just create a safe space for y'all created a family space, a family space that allowed you to grow and then want to do these things. You have lessons that you probably impart upon your kids and everything else that you don't even realize came from BSG stuff that you did, stuff that you wanted to do. You have expectations in terms of vacations and things and things that y'all have done together that allows you to live in abundance. The abundance that the Lord affords you was all in the lessons that you learned. So that's all I wanted to say. Love you guys. I'm out.
He'll be back. Don't worry. Can't help it. Thank you, Joe. I think that was so true. And it really was beautiful. You are right. Like, I don't really know how to do. I was going to say I don't know how to do associates. I do know how to do associates. I do it very well. But the people that I invite into my home definitely are family. And so I'm thankful that we were able to build those connections and really build our own little family, our own little community. One thing I forgot to ask y'all, we are missing a member of the BSGs, and that's Tomica, because she's gone on to be with Jesus. So I didn't ask you, and I meant to, but it slipped my mind. If you guys want to talk about Tomica now, or if you want to save it to the end, because I don't know where y'all might be on here and I'll be wailing and like, so I don't know. I'm going to take a group poll real quick. You want to do it now? You want to do it later? If you want to do it now, give me a thumbs up. Everybody says the end. Like all right. I have one that was like, okay, I'm ready. Everybody else like, we going wait. All right. We're going to wait. To ask y'all that earlier. So I just wanted to say that because Tomica definitely was an integral part of the Bible study girls. You know, she was an integral part of my life because she was my cousin and because we definitely shared our faith and our faith struggles a lot. So I didn't want anybody to think I forgot about her. Of course, I remember my cousin. I remember her well. So I'll save that to the end. So one of my friends don't run off. Dang it. What was I gonna say, Joe? I lost my train of thought.
I was gonna say God gonna get you for all the snitching you doing. He gonna get you. He gonna get you. You got to let folks breathe, child. Like, look, I know you really I ain't gonna say you trying to be like, I know it's welling up in you because I think you want to do it now so you can get it out and then there can be
no
all
honestly
happiness.
I'm nervous that if I was to talk about her now, then you wouldn't have no rest of the show. So moving right along. I just wanted it to be clear though.
Well, let me get to one of your questions.
Let me say what I'm going to say. I remembered. Okay, brother.
Go ahead.
Let me do it. Okay. Tomica was a very integral part of the Bible study girls for me because she invited Toya to come. Toya invited Celicia, and that would have been a large hole and a large gap if Tomica hadn't been on her, aggressiveness, because she's definitely aggressive. So that's all I wanted to say about that, brother. I will ask you guys, what do you think? What's special about you, or what's unique about you? What's your unique perspective that you brought to the Bible study girls? What do you feel like your take was? I think the unique thing that I brought to the Bible study girls, I think, was my ability to create and be creative and be flexible. I think that was instrumental in us being successful and in me not burning out. I love a challenge. I love to try new things. And so I think that's something that I definitely brought to the table. I think that helped us as a group. And I think my organization helped us tremendously as well. Now, from a personality level, I think my goofiness definitely helped. And yeah, I think that's all I got. So I think being a stepchild as well also altered the view and the perspective that I brought to different aspects of our Bible study. I think growing up in church and being a church kid and I need to think of an eloquent way to say this. If I was my brother, I'd have it already.
Jonathan McReynolds living in the, or Gray. That was
living in the gray.
That's where that's more of a, yeah.
Right. Trying to find my place in Christianity and what does Christianity look like for me. I think that is a unique perspective I brought to the Bible study girls. And I will also say I feel like my willingness to be transparent was probably a unique perspective that I brought, because my thing with starting Bible study was I don't know the answers, but I do want to be in a place where I feel safe to say to other people, I don't know the answers. And so what do you think? So I think that's something unique that I brought to our core group. Is anyone else willing to share their unique perspective that they think helped make the group better, feel like a safe place?
I'll say one thing, but not specifically about me, but something specifically about everybody within the group. I would say that I have not taken part with a group of women that um, everybody's so selfless and nobody's just super, it has to be this way and like this. And if we had to pick a place to go or how to do it, everybody would be like, whatever you want to do or whatever, you know. So I've never been a part of something where people were just so selfless and not what are the I'm like you. What are the words that I'm trying to say? Not combative and trying to fight over each other to speak or to be nobody overly dominant to make it more of a welcoming environment. So that's all I'll say.
I think that's very true, Salisha. And I think it's great that you said that, because it's something that I know to be true of our group, but I don't even think I even realized it till you said it. Like, that is very true. Nobody was like, and go ahead. What were you saying, Sinitra?
I was just saying, I agree. There were no egos in the group,
which is very rare. You really don't get that a lot, which is what makes me feel, well, another thing that lets me know this is definitely something that the Lord wanted for us all collectively, because we didn't have that. We would get together every week and we would have a good time.
I also think it plays something into our generation. Much like Salisha was saying, when you grow up in traditional churches, there were not a lot of spaces for us to understand how the Bible relates to our current walk. A lot of what was given to us was mostly made us feel like, I guess when I get your age, I get it, or I'm doing something wrong,
true.
or I gotta be doing something wrong, or I can't connect with this, so I'll just go and do what they say is, kid stuff, and then when it comes back around, it'll come back around, and I'll understand. Much like we were talking about in a couple podcasts ago when I was talking to you about Naomi and the fact that as an adult, I never would have saw that fact that she came to God with her bitterness and being upset. And I think y'all came to the BSGs with your openness of the fact that you wanted to know more, that you wanted to walk in your own struggles and feeling safe. Like there can be ego when you're actually seeking to better yourself. Like, to humble yourself before God. And that's something that even before you did a Bible study that each of you understood within your own lives, because it comes off so naturally from the things that y'all do together, that humbleness and servitude in service of the Lord and how he would have me respond and act with people is what I want to do first. Because there are so many situations throughout our lives in these 10 years that y'all showed up and showed out for things that you didn't have to show up and show out for, or that people wouldn't think that you went to this person's wedding, or they made this for you when this person was gone in your family, or we threw a whole, throwing birthday parties at people's houses and y'all can't, like, it's walking in. I don't want to just read the scriptures and feel disconnected from them. I don't want to just learn about God and feel disconnected from him. I want to walk in what he gave me and how he gave it to me. And I think that's something that our generation that's going to be the legacy of, I think, this generation. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. I was going to say, I feel like we were like a puzzle piece. Like, all of our pieces came together. And even though Sarita, you're the facilitator. I like Felicia said, there was no ego. I never felt like, yes, your nickname was the facilitator, but you weren't running anything. If that makes sense. Like, see,
oh, it makes
like,
sense because I tell y'all all the time, I'm just reading these questions. Next.
yes, you will always say, I'm just reading the questions. And I do. I felt like we were a puzzle piece. Like we came together. There were no egos. There were no dumb questions. There were no dumb answers, and we were all able to be real. And I think Joe really said a mouthful when he said that we all knew to humble ourselves before God, and we were hungry. We were thirsty to know more, to do better, to just whatever it was. I think we were a puzzle piece, and I know we said we would talk about Tomica at the end, and I know we will. It just that piece of puzzle is gone, so I'm sorry, but
don't get started, Toya, because I will shut this whole podcast down.
I'm gonna go back to mute, but yes, I feel like we fit together perfectly. And who was supposed to be there was supposed to be there. I'm like Chantel. Honestly, I don't even remember anybody else. If they were there, whenever you say that, I'm like, who else showed up? Because I don't remember.
I still don't remember. I mean, I know I would have been at the house.
Well, Joe, you would know who showed up at the beginning because we started meeting in my apartment. It was after.
Yeah. Well,
it was. No. Yeah, it was maybe.
I think it was some of Tomica's friends, wasn't it?
Yes, some of Tomica's friends came. Toya, you brought a lady one time. She just came one time and she didn't come back.
I don't even remember who it was.
So I want to ask this question off of the list that I think will be great. What was the best thing about being a Bible study girl for each of you? We'll start with the host, and then whoever feels like speaking up next can go.
The best thing for me about being a BSG is that it really helped me cement a relationship with God. Not something that's fake or false or phony or what people tell me I need to do. But it helped me work through finding him for myself. I was almost 30. Like I was in my late 20s and I was still struggling with what does a relationship with Christ look like for me? Like practically, like in real life, like outside of these Sunday sermons, what is it looking like for me? And so the best thing about being a BSG is that it gave me a space and a freedom to discover that without feeling judged, without having people say, oh, you trash. And I was able to talk about like my real life situations and not in a church way. We ain't dressing it up. It is what it is. This is how I feel right now. I almost said something, but I'm not going to say it. But yes, brother, for me, that was the best thing about being a BSG. And also it gave me a community. Like when life got hard or gets hard or when things are bad, I have ladies I know I can reach out to pray for me. And it's not a lot of questions. It's just, I got you, and that's one of the best things for me.
Okay.
But I'll talk about that more when I talk about Tomica and everybody crying.
We're going to fight.
I'll go. I will say basically what Sarita said. Feel like I'm piggybacking off everybody, but it's true. Y'all are all lending great things to this conversation. But I may be 40, but let me reach out to some of the young people that may be listening. We didn't come into it capping, fronting, stunting, none of that.
She's so hip, and I'm not. Go ahead, friend.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a little hip.
If you need a translator, she means no one came in lying. I'll say it for you. There you
okay,
go.
We cap every week. I didn't feel like I had to be super fancy with my words. Come with some type of something really impressive to say. I remember crying several times about just different things over life.
Child, we all cried.
I'd be judged. And I know we said we would wait till later to speak about Tomica, but that's definitely one of the things I love and miss about her. Not calling anyone fake in the group at all, but I feel like she was the top #1 realist in our group.
Yes.
Used to just I miss that about her. She would share things and say things in a way that we all could relate to, but maybe not would say how she would say it.
Right. 100%, friend. 100%.
Oh man.
Chantel finna get off this phone call. She can't take it.
Oh man. See, it's getting closer and closer. Okay. So we have those because I feel like a lot of those will be the kind of the same in similarity about the best thing. Because what's crazy about it is being the family that all of us are, is, you know, the similarities and the commonalities between everybody and how your individuality stood out even more because of those commonalities in terms of the things that we do with this podcast in general. So let's see. We can do this one because I think this will be an easier thing for you guys to do because you just can dote on one another. Is what is your favorite thing about each group member here? I stress that here because we're going to get to the other stuff later. So just what is your favorite thing about each other? Like Sarita, start and go through with everyone, and then we'll, you know, let everybody do the same.
Okay, everybody that wants to share and participate in this activity can participate, no pressure. But the last podcast we did, you know, my brother is very big on trying to help me see myself. And so he's always pushing, like, say something nice. And so I wanted this podcast, really honestly, to be able to give y'all your flowers. Because as we know, life is not promised to us. And while we're all here, I want to tell you the things that I love about you and the things that are great about you and the things that I appreciate about you. So I'm going to start with Toya. Actually, I'm going to start with my sister. My bad. Because I got them. I had to write them out because before we started, I was like, you know, I asked them this question, but I need to know, like, for myself, like, what do I love about each person? Like, how can I articulate it? Because that'd be my problem. Like, I know it in my head, but how do I say it to that person? So I'm going to start with my buddy, Sinitra. And I'm going to say one of the things that I love most about you is your passion. I think that is one thing that we definitely have in common. You know, I get you, girl. You get me. Like, we can be dramatic together, and you're passionate about life. You are passionate about just everything. And I love that about you.
Thank you.
I also love that you laugh at my jokes. You make me feel like I'm hilarious. I should be a comedian.
No, we're goofy together.
We are goofy together. And I feel like everybody needs that. Even though, you know, I'm about to be 40 years old, I know I could call you and we can laugh.
Okay. I'm gonna insert real quick. Go ahead and ask because you couldn't remember your song. See if I feel like Sinitra gonna remember your song.
Sinitra remembers the song. Sinitra, you remember "Rockabye Baby," don't you?
"Rockabye Baby." Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, totally.
Tell him, Joe be hating on me. He don't realize that we was a real group out in these streets, girl.
We sure did. We recorded a record. We were 16? But yeah.
Yes, we did it on a tape player. That's how long ago it was. We had to press record on the cassette player.
To get on the CD, you had to press play on the CD player to get it going on the record player.
Quit hating, Joe.
I'm not hating. I'm just telling you what you was doing because I was there with you. What you mean?
So listen, the fact of the matter is, I love Sinitra's passion. She gets me. She laughs at my jokes, and you know, Sinitra knows things about me. She's got the dirt. Like I said, we grew up together, so she knows all the ignorant stuff.
Where all the bodies are hidden, yes.
All the bodies are hidden. And Sinitra will ride for me. She'll ride for anybody she loves, and I love that about her. So yeah. Friend, I want you to know I appreciate you. I love you. You've been a very, very important part of my life.
Love you too. Thank you.
Okay. So how I started the top of show. Oh yeah, I have to skip over Tomica because she's the T's. I went from the S's to the T's. Toya, you next, girl. Okay, Toya. What I love about you is your endless positivity and your pursuit for God. I feel like you, even if I was having a bad day for Bible study or I was doubting something, I feel like you are a person that was able to help me course correct and like be like, thus saith the Lord. And I'll be like, he sure did say that, did the girl? And I appreciate that about you. I appreciate that you would not allow me to get stuck, where I was like, no, we got to move past that. And I do love that about you. And I appreciate that about you. Moving to the C's in alphabetical order. Celicia. I love your caring heart. I love that you are so much fun. You are so giving. You will always laugh with me, and I appreciate that. And you are a very easy person to love, and I don't do new friends and new people. So, even though Tomica invited Toya, I knew who Toya was. Like, I grew up seeing Toya around, so it wasn't like, but I'm like, who is this? Who is Celicia? Hey, Celicia. Like, but you are so easy to love, and I'm so grateful that you came into my life because you really are a ball of fun. Okay, next C, and the last one on the list, Chantel. My friend, I think I've given you roses several times in real life, but I do love you, and I think one of the things I love most about you is that you do help me. Kind of like Toya, you help me remain centered. I remember early on in our friendship, Chantel is another person that loves the Lord. And so I remember telling her, like, I don't know if we had went out to eat or I don't know, but I was like, we need to have a serious discussion. She was like, what you finna say to me? And I was like, I feel like it's some things you need to know about me. If we're going to be like for real friends, I feel like you need to know this about me. And then you can decide if you want to be friends with me or not. Like, you need to know this. So ever since then, Chantel be like, what you finna say to me? She be mad because she don't ever know what I'm finna say.
No one ever knows what you finna say when you say that. And it could be the most harmless thing in the world or the most Sarita thing in the world. You just say it the same way every time because you know the response you're going to get because you are a terrorist. And I've told you this a million times before. You be knowing what you're doing. Because the thing I was just... Yes. I was going to say the thing with Chantel specifically with me and her in terms of your... Chantel is your the truth meter that does not have the filter of being your younger sibling. So when you need the it's I don't mean no harm without saying it the way girl mom would say it. What'd you say she say to you? Do you want
No, Chantel will say to me, we may not be friends after this, but I'm gonna
okay.
tell you what's right.
There we go. Yeah, that's the one. So that to me is always something that I always laugh about, especially now, because when you call and talk to me about something, and majority of the time you probably do it when you're on the phone with her too. Joe said the same thing. Chantel said it the exact same way. So it's like we always at your neck about whatever it is, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I will say this too. Like, if I tell Chantel something that she think crazy, she'll be like, "Your mama know what you doing," or what Joe say. But tell Joe he right. I said the same thing. Anyway, so that's what I love and appreciate about all of y'all. Y'all definitely have become the family I didn't even know I needed, and I would be missing out on a whole big part of my life if I had an extended invitation to y'all to come study the Bible together. It grew into much more than just like we're going to open up these 66 books. It really was it created community and family for me. And so I'm grateful for each and every one of y'all. And I want y'all to know that. Anybody else want to share what they love about the members of the group? You can if you want to, or you don't have to.
And just know that if you do not, the next thing we are doing is the thing that you really don't want to do. And we got to, this is the sunshine before.
Yeah, this is
more
the sunshine before the storm.
Not to scare anyone.
I'll share. When thinking about the question, it made me think like when Bible study was currently going on, it's something that I probably took for granted and didn't think much about, like what each individual person was bringing to the group. But thinking about it now, everybody did bring something unique, like starting with Sarita, being our facilitator, organizing us. And I took it for granted that you was getting together a group of 6 women. And we really didn't do nothing unless you were the one organizing us, and what that must have been like to try to get us all together, even though we may have been compliant or dragging our feet maybe at times. And looking at that, thinking about that with you specifically, that's something that I needed in my life at that time: organization, attention to task. And God was playing that out right there with you, before my eyes, seeing that. So I appreciate it. I would say the Bible study group has definitely changed my life. It has given me a group of women that when times are hard, if I need to send out a prayer request, I know all I got to do is shoot out a text message and there's people there that has my back, Tanitra, I think about, we used to call her medicine woman. I don't remember her official Bible study name.
It was.
Okay. I thought about that. One thing about Tanitra, I admire your wisdom. And she always had a remedy, an antidote, a natural remedy for whatever it was we was talking about. And I was thinking about that. God cares about the body as a whole, not just spiritually, but just even physically, So that was one thing that I loved about Sinitra that she brought to the group. Felicia, I would say very carefree, easygoing. And I'm sure at that time in my life, and still even now, I could be very uptight. So I needed to see that in someone else and see what that looks like. Toya, I think about your faith. Toya is a pray and wait type person. She ain't gonna be moved. She's gonna stand on that solid foundation. If God said it, it is so. I don't care what it looks like, how the wind may blow. Once again, something that I need. So I thank God for all of y'all. I love y'all. I thank God, even though I don't want to be talking on this podcast because I want to be quiet, but being here gave me an opportunity while everybody's still here to step away and think about what everybody has brought to the Bible study group and how God was intentional with that and how it has impacted and influenced my life. So thank you, guys.
Thank you for sharing.
Hold on, no. This is needed because the God was moving. Oh, the shibos.
Woo, I hope.
Oh, sorry, guys. Woo. He fell fresh.
Well, why the executive producers in the spirit? Does anybody else?
I'll go.
Okay.
That's a tough actor. I can't follow that. I don't know, Chantel. Because all right. So I'll start with Sinitra. Man, you are creative and nurturing and just full of talent and to an extent too humble. Like, you're amazing. And it's always like, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, it's awesome. She'd be like, oh, that's all right. And I'd be like, no, it's amazing. Like, why would you want to keep that to yourself? Like, girl, just okay. So that's Anitra. I'll go with Chantel. Man, Chantel Chantel goes hard in the paint. Like, Chantel sets a goal. Chantel makes a roadmap. Chantel is very structured. If there's anybody,
she is, Felicia. You preaching? Go ahead.
Yeah. So if there's somebody that I know I could definitely use more structure. Like, I'm pretty carefree. But Chantel definitely inspires me to want to be more structured. It's so important just to see the fruits of her labor too. You put what you put in is what you put out. I love to see that growth within Chantel, and it's inspiring to me. And in my weaknesses to want to do better. So week over week, Chantel, that definitely just your steadfastness and just your way to go towards your goals. I think that's amazing. Toya, oh my goodness, I could talk forever about Toya since I've known Toya the longest out of everybody. But what really touches me about Toya is just kind of what you said about Sinitra. Toya is very passionate and she will ride for those that she loves. And you, just a praying woman, anything that I may ask, Toya is there. Toya is there. Toya's family is there. Toya, like it's just, I'm so happy to know you. And to just, you've touched my life. So just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sarita, oh my gosh, the facilitator. I am most appreciative of you for not being hard-headed, for allowing God to work through you, even though it may not be something that you feel comfortable with, or you may not have all the details, may not be ironed out, but you're always Bible study, brother. Just your ability to walk out on faith, because I know that I can be a bit shy on things like that. God could be speaking to me and I'm be like, Lord, man, are you sure that you're, I'll try my best not to, put that step forward, but, and even just your transparency. So I do try to catch in and catch up with the blog when I have time. Just your transparency really inspires me, and your testimony, it's an inspiration to me, and I know that you're doing the work of God to be able to spread that to others who may be going through some of the more similar things, and to just not be shy and to speak up, and that there's a community and we're all here for to glorify God. So that's it.
Thank you, Celicia. I love you and I appreciate you. Also, one fun fact about Celicia that I forgot to share. Celicia's an amazing artist. Like, for real, when we talked about hidden talents and learning stuff about people, like, oh, you can draw for real. Well, how about you do this for me, friend? So yeah, that is one other thing that I really love and appreciate about my friend. Talented group of women, talented group of ladies. Anyone else want to share?
Sinitra, I saw you unmuted. Do you want to go and then I'll go? Or you're not going to say anything?
Oh, you can go.
Okay. So let me see. I'll start with Sinitra. Like everybody said, Sinitra is full of wisdom. And I think, like, Celicia said it, sometimes she's too humble. It's almost like sometimes she'll play herself down when she shouldn't at all. But she was a medicine woman. She always had some type of something. It doesn't matter what we talked about. Sinitra had an answer for it. And I love that about you. You remind me of the old grandmama who had like the peppermints in her purse.
That is true.
That grandma, that's what she reminded me of. She's just
raised by my grandmother, so.
But you are so full of wisdom, and you play yourself down when you shouldn't. You hold your weight just like the rest of us. Celicia, you are my girl. I call Celicia C Money, CC. We have known each other forever. It just even how we became friends was in God itself. Like, you know how they tell you get together in groups and nobody picked, and how you just look around, you're like, you got somebody? No, I got nobody. So, okay, we're in a group together. Celicia, what I love about you is your spirit of discernment. And you won't share things unless you're asked. And I love that about you. Like, you know how to be a gatekeeper. You know how to say something when it's time to say something. You know how to be silent when it's time to be silent. So I appreciate that about you. Chantel is like a secret weapon. She's very quiet, like she doesn't want to say anything. But let me tell you something. There is authority behind Chantel's voice. And what she say is so. And if anybody has to pray, if I have to choose, I'm going to pick Chantel every time. She may not want to pray, but I'm going to pick her every time because there's authority in her voice and you can hear it. So she's like a secret weapon. Sarita. I'm like Celicia. And everybody else, thank you for being obedient, to God's call into his pool, because you could have said no and us group of women wouldn't have been together. I knew Sanitra in passing, just like I knew you in passing from the church. And Chantel would have been the pretty girl who came to visit 34th Street every now and then. Like we would have known each other. So thank you for being obedient. Your obedience, your humbleness, your realness. Girl, if you needed to be told about yourself, you were not afraid to be honest so people could tell you about yourself. And that takes a lot for somebody to say, you know what, y'all, this is what I'm thinking. But I just love that about our group. Like, we didn't sugarcoat. There was no hidden agenda. I didn't care if you thought I was perfect or not. I needed to know. I needed to know what you think and what you thought. So thank you for being obedient. And Joe, thanks for being very present.
Here. Nah, I'm here. Nah, I was going to say, not today. I was here for the snacks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thank you for being very present.
Hey, man, got to clear up the leftovers, man. Can't leave no.
Hey, you kept Ian entertained for me sometimes, so thank you.
Oh, yeah. Ian was always entertained with me.
Ian was
I don't know.
Too. He is the other member.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And whenever he wasn't never just chilling. I was like,
he was very chill. Very chill.
This works for me. This is easy. Hey, let's chill. Nitra, did you want to say anything, love? Or because I think you were the last one before we get to the.
I did. I'll go ahead and share. I don't want anyone to feel slighted, so I'll sum mine up like this, and you all assign the titles as you feel they, fit. But I will start off with thank you for being an outgoing, obedient helper to one of you or all of you. Thank you to being the calm, mature wisdom leader of the group. Thank you for your bubbly, unique, fun, loving personality. And thank you for being the optimistic, Bible verse bar spitting person that you are. I remember one person in particular, literally every time something was said, she would have a specific verse that matched. And I'll go ahead and say one of them. I remember one time we were speaking about, I want to say it was Sodom and Gomorrah. And this lady in our Bible study group said, well, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. And I'm like, you sure right. It does say that. Every time she would do that, and I'd be like, you sure right. Oh, you are so right. So y'all assign those as you see fit. I love you all. Thank you for being awesome. And yeah, I look forward to hopefully speaking to you guys more. I'm the one that kind of, shied away from the group a little bit, but yeah, I still love y'all.
Thank you so much for sharing, sister.
Applause for the room, for each of you speaking. You were glorious speakers, way more than all of you give yourselves credit for. Because ain't nobody saying we ain't winning no whatever that dude's name is that they do the writers awards for. Look, y'all are as verbal or as verbose as the Lord would have you to be, and the things that have been placed on your hearts are the things that need to be said. So do not diminish that by saying you ain't an orator or whatever. Y'all all amazing, and your voices are heard where they need to be heard. Point blank, period.
Absolutely. And I'm thankful for every voice on this podcast because you've all spoken into my life at different points in my life. And I'm forever grateful for that. I don't think that's something that's ever going to change. I know we all get busy. Life gets hectic. Shoot, I had them 2 kids this weekend and I'm tired. So shouts out to all the moms in the group. I'm going to start sending y'all champagne once a month. Just Jesus, God. Be a fence all around me. So I get it. Our lives are busy. We get pushed and pulled in many different directions. So now we're gonna segue and move into this part of the podcast. I was
Okay,
just gonna say
before
we've been
you,
pushed and
and let's just the best. Like, let's stay in the happiest place that all of us can stay, because I don't know how many people in this chat have seen Black Panther at this point, but 3 of us, I can't handle if you go the other way. I know the 3, me, Sleech, and Toya, you cannot push me the other way right now, because I will get on here and mute the I almost cussed. Mute y'all, because we got to stay sane enough. So just say your best, cling to the happiness, because the joy will always be there. Your best memory of the most wonderful, the reason we say the most wonderful podcast of your day, your favorite memory, just of anything. Like, just let your
of Tomica Y
of
Seals.
yes,
You got to put that Y in there.
you do have to put the one.
Okay, Joe. What I was gonna say is I was gonna share this, and then we can talk about happy times. But I think one thing that is true for you and me is we know life ain't always happy.
Okay.
And I think that was one of my struggles. Just roll your sleeves up, brother. You should have some tissue in there with you, because it's gonna happen. The tears gonna come.
Nah, go ahead. I'm good.
I will say, I talked about earlier about this group being essential for me and this group being important for me when life gets hard. I have a group of ladies that I can shoot out a text and say, look, I need for y'all to pray for me. So when Tomica got sick, when she was first admitted to the hospital, I think I sent a group text to everybody and was like, hey, y'all, we need to be in prayer because Tomica's in the hospital. I don't know, I don't know what's wrong, but let's be in prayer. And I think as the week went on.
Hey, Sarita, can I interject really fast? Y'all, but I want to say thanks to everybody for sharing. And I feel like I know the reason why we all shared, especially Chantel, because Chantel does not talk, is because of what we're about to talk about. Because life is short. It's not promised. And I know that I want to talk, and I feel like everybody else wants to say something to give us all of our flowers, because we're on this podcast right now, and tomorrow it could be another text message. So thank you, everybody, for sharing something. Thank you. I'm sorry, Sarita. No, interject, but I want to say that. Thank you so much.
No, but I think that's much needed. I think losing Tomica really made me realize, like, dang, life is not like it really could be here today and gone tomorrow. And so that has changed the way that I move and I operate in my life. So I think I sent out text messages like, y'all need to pray, because I don't know what's going on, but it was not looking well. My thought was, I really thought that the thing was going to be like, oh, she has cancer. So in my mind, I was preparing to shave my head and whatever, we finna be ball sisters together. Like, this is not the end. That was just inconceivable to me, but I knew that I needed a community like, hey, y'all, I need for y'all to pray. So I think we talked about this briefly when Chantel was on the podcast, but the day that Tomica passed, I was texting Chantel all day, like, hey, this is what they're saying. Can you just tell everybody to pray? Like, I don't even know. And I like, when we got the news that, like, no, it's over, I remember texting Chantel. Oh, Lord, I couldn't call her. And I
take your time, child.
But I knew she would handle it and she would get the news out to everybody. And I talked about the fact that I didn't really think about, I couldn't think at that point in time. So I didn't really think about how it was affecting my friend that was out in the world. If I had been more sane at the time, I probably would have been like, girl, text me when you get home. But my friend was out in the streets, trying to make sure everything was well and like pushing forward. taking care of business on my behalf. And so I will always appreciate her for that. But I'm thankful that we have so many great memories together with Tomica. And that she really was. She was so passionate and loud and vibrant and just real. So I'm thankful that I've got to share not just the good times with y'all, but when it got bad, I'm thankful that I had a community to lean on and that really knew her, beyond like passing her in the street or, just having a brief encounter with her. You really knew her. And so I think it was important for me to have people that recognize like the depths of my grief and how hard life was for me and how my life completely and totally changed. And I'm thankful that I had that community before she was gone. I can't imagine losing her and not having anybody else, just period. And so I'm thankful for y'all. And brother, I'm gonna get back on the boat.
No, we off the boat, child. Go ahead. Do your thing. Do your thing.
I'ma
Let him use you. Let him use you. Let him use you.
I'm gonna get back on the boat, but I think that's one thing that I'm always and forever gonna be grateful for. I'm grateful for every story Tomica ever shared, every loud, because my cousin is loud. Every story she ever shared, because she was just so honest and real and like unfiltered.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm gonna say it. Unfiltered. That girl was unfiltered. So you want me to share my best Tomica memory?
I want you to say your best memory, or just something that you think was pivotal. I got two things I'll do real quick just so I can get all the way out the way. First thing that is not as readily known about Tomica is how much she does like go out and pour into people and like orchestrates things for people. I laugh all the time because she supported my music before anybody would have thought to support my music, and connections that I have now were things that she did then, and like she in rooms that I was not in would speak up about what I was doing. And I did get to thank her for that in a lot of different ways, and I thank God for this podcast for that time to do it. But she just poured into people. Like if she believed in you or saw the potential in you or what she knew you could do, breathe. She would make sure that she did what she needed to do to help you. And Lord, good God.
Push through, brother. You did it.
The second thing, oh God, this one's gonna get me though, but it's more so my shout out to Chantel and our the funniest bond of speaking. And I just think about going up there at her funeral and Chantel being able to talk with like, you went up there. I didn't know if you was gonna be able to. I was like, I can do it, because she would have been cussing at both of us if we didn't. Because she would know what the capabilities that you have. She knew you were better than your worst day, and that there was more for you just by trusting. If you just trust, like it ain't gonna look great. She never said like on your worst day that she like stop believing that you could be who you're supposed to be in Christ. And that's something that I'm the most thankful for. So.
I will say, like, you bringing it up, brother, made me remember, like, that is one thing I'm missing from my life. Tomica she believed in me, baby. And I knew that, and I needed those words. I needed encouragement at times, and not too long before she passed. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna step out the way. So I had to speak. I spoke at Mission Sunday. I was the speaker for the whatever. They ain't had no sermon, they had me. So before I did it, she was like, girl, what you gonna say? I said, girl, I don't know. I don't know why these people want me to speak at Mission Sunday. And my cousin was like, girl, I don't know either, child. Yeah, I'm laughing though because I think she looked over my notes a little bit. She was like, "That's all you got?" I was like, "That's all I got. Like, I ain't got nothing else. That's it." And so when it was over, she was like, "Girl, I ain't gonna lie, I was worried about you." But she was like, "The Lord really used you." She was like, because I didn't get that from what I saw. She was like, "But the Lord really used you." And she was like, she told me, she was like, "You don't really see yourself." She was like, and the people keep telling you, she was like, "But God definitely has something special for you." And she was like, "You need to see that about yourself." So I do miss that. And I appreciate that about my cousin. Yeah, I miss that and appreciate that. Like, everybody has always said her realness. She wasn't gonna lie. If it was trash, it was trash, Uh, and so I appreciate that. And I miss that about my cousin. Anybody else want to share a memory, a moment?
Oh, yeah. Oof,
I'll go. Everything about Tomica. I'm sorry, I'm a crybaby, so if I cry, I don't care. I'm a crybaby.
We all
yeah,
crying.
that's why I was trying
Real
to.
fast.
I tried.
In the car headed to the movie theater, and Anthony and I were talking, and we brought up Tamika's death, and it's like, wait, Tamika really is no longer with us. Like, it almost feels like she went on vacation and she just ain't came back. I think that's how I've tucked it away in my head. I know that's how I've tucked it away in my head, because I literally feel like, God, you really call her home? Like, for real? Of all people, you called, like, you called Tomica home. I just didn't see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see her being so young and going on, like, so I feel like she's on a vacation and she'll be back and she'll be like, "Y'all miss me?" Like, she gonna show up with that big personality, like,
Right.
"Girl, you was on that phone talking about some," like, I just hear her. She was so vibrant. She was so bubbly. I know I'm echoing because that's what she was. She didn't want you hugging on her, but if you came in for a hug and caught her off guard, she would let you hug her. It's just like, I don't know. I just miss everything about her. She's just everything. So I don't know. I don't have one favorite memory. I don't know. Everything about her I miss. She would call Ian, what she call him, grown man?
Yeah.
That grown man or something like that. It was just who she was. She was kind of like our glue. Like I spoke about us being a puzzle piece. She was our glue
She
that held our
was.
puzzle piece together.
She was.
And
I'm
now
gonna tell
that
you this. I'm gonna let you talk to it, but I'm gonna tell you, she kept the BSGs together much longer than Sarita would have. Tamika would be like, "Girl, we need to do another Bible study," and I'd be like, "Girl, we don't." Like, she was the glue baby. She kept a lot of stuff together, and I think in her absence, people are realizing how much she really did and how much she really kept together behind the scenes. She did. Go ahead, Toy. I'm gonna let you talk.
oh no, that was it. I was gonna say, like how I was saying that we all fit together like a puzzle piece. And it's like one of our link is missing in it. The glue is missing. The glue, whenever I think of you guys, I will send a text message, and say, "Hey, hope all is well," because I guess that's just who I am. But I don't have a one memory about Tomica. I mean, it's just all I literally can just see her face and just laugh, because she was she put me on to those Now and Later soft shoes, whatever it was that we were on our way to the beach.
Yeah.
I killed those. Like, girl, I probably got a cavity after eating those so much. Like, it was just always something. It was, I don't know. I don't have one. I have several, so I don't want to keep talking, but yeah, I miss the glue, and I feel like she's on vacation and we'll see her again soon. So.
How soon?
Not that soon. Let me be specific. I don't want my message to be cryptic. Lord, I ain't ready. I still gotta have this little girl.
My heart is full. But,
What does the Bible say? One day for us. Not gonna get started. Okay, never mind. Everybody
she
know I
told
got a
she
scripture.
wait, she told on herself. We know Toya was the one with the scriptures because she like, now what does the Bible?
Exactly. Yep, she was.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that's
Not soon like that. Not soon like that. So both of y'all was like, Chantel was like, wait.
I'm not going outside, bro. I'm just gonna lay down, and I guess if I gotta go, I gotta go now.
Here's the thing, though. We used to call Toya prophetess, so I'm like, are you trying to say we all finna get up out of here?
No. No, and when we get done recording, I do want to talk about that. When we get done recording, I want to share something.
Okay.
But after we get done recording. Okay.
Anybody?
Sinitra. Oh, Sinitra was you. Oh, Chantel. Okay, no.
Whoever, church hand, who got it? Chantel, it's on you.
All right. Just reiterating what everybody else have said about Tomica. Shoot, I thought I was gonna come in here strong. Definitely unfiltered, and I love that about her. And that was one thing my mom loved about Tomica, meeting her.
So did. Your mama loved the mess out of Tomica.
Tomica, her girl. And the thing is, my mom does not necessarily gravitate to any and everyone. But as real as Tomica was, as tough as Tomica was, as unfiltered as Tomica was, I would definitely say Tomica was so positive. If I came to say something negative about somebody or a situation, Tomica always gonna be like, for real, you think so? And trying to see the other side. I needed it, but I didn't always want to hear it. Like, dang it, Tomica. Hey. Another thing I loved about Tomica was with her realness, her toughness, being unfiltered. Tomica could reach anybody. She could talk and reach somebody in the street, in the pulpit, or in the church. And that is something that is definitely needed. Sometimes as Christians, we get too high to where we don't feel like we can reach that to those who need the help. And that was a gift that Tomica had. Two things I'm going to always probably just remember about Tomica in general. If you know her, then you know if she was going to a new restaurant she had never been to before, Tomica going to download that menu and she going to study it.
Because she couldn't make no decision, baby. We would have been there all night.
And then get to the restaurant and still don't know what she gonna get. Like, Tomica, you've been studying the menu, girl. So that's one thing that I think about that makes me laugh. Another thing I think about in my downtime when I'm sad, low, I think about Tomica reading them announcements at Greater 3-4. I wouldn't even remember her. But I always remember she gonna come in there strong and happy, talking about this is the day.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is something that I carry with me, and I think about that because it wasn't always easy for Tomica. You know, there was things that she had to work hard for to get. You know, but yet and still, that was one thing she would always say: "This is the day that the Lord has made," and that's something that I hold on to, that I find encouragement in when I need it.
Thank you for sharing, friend. You came in strong. This is your second time having to come in strong. You know, Chantel stood in the gap and she spoke for all the BSGs at Tomica's funeral. And I'm forever grateful for that. You know, when I called her to put her on program, she was like, I don't think I can do that. And I was like, we need a voice though. And I know I can't. I know I didn't. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get up there and talk to the people. So I appreciate you, friend, for stepping up. And
of course, you know, that was when you let me know Joe was on program. And I'm like, dang it. If Joe on program.
I did tell her, I said, now listen. Right. I was like, now listen, we got a lot of possibles. Joe ain't said whether or not. I was like, well, friend, Joe said he gonna do it. So
yo, listen.
I was kind of happy he said he was gonna do it. Like, take it, Joe.
Well, listen, God had took me through the year. Like when I and I said this on the podcast at some point, but for those of you who don't know, when I accepted my call to preach, every time that I was about to preach, somebody passed that was like close to me. Whether it was one of the, like, I think I had like 2 or 3 times where I didn't have to go up after something had happened. So at that point, if you ask me, I'm gonna do it, because I said, all right, Lord, if you ask me to do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just keep my focus on that. I'm gonna try not to look left or look right. And this especially given, like what my January was to my next January was like, no, I gotta do this. Like, cause this is an attack on all accounts for the fact that I've accepted my call. And I can't see it as nothing else as an attack. If I don't speak, who will? If I don't speak, what is left unsaid to somebody's spirit that needs it in this moment. So even me being on the program, like at that point was what you needed to know you could. And that's just again, like Toy said, that glue that she was and is.
Right.
If she asked me to do something, if I asked her to do anything, it was go time. It wasn't, I don't really know about that. She never had a moment where it's like, I felt like she was debating about something to do for me. And even things that I would just ask Sarita to do that I didn't always think to ask her to do in terms of like coming to shows or whatever, she just showed up. And then I'd be like, I'd always be surprised, even though I really shouldn't be surprised, that she was there to support my music or play songs or whatever it was she would do. And, God knew what he was doing. We talked about the Thanksgiving and the Christmas we had like right before and my birthday that year. Like all of these different things that she just added a light to, especially in this group, especially in her honesty. And she felt no true ill will towards folks. Even folks she didn't really fool with, she would still earnestly pray for them in a way that was like, I couldn't fathom being able to do some of the things she was able to do for any kind of disrespect that came around her vicinity. And
I'm gonna share this too. Like after she passed away, like we found her prayer list and the people that she was praying for and the specific prayers that she was praying for people. Even people she hadn't talked to in years, she was committed to like, I'm praying for you and I'm praying for you in this area. So that's one thing I missed about Tomica. She was a prayer warrior, baby. I feel like the Lord heard her prayers and he responded accordingly.
I want to just add to that. I agree. That was one thing that, we would say, Tomica could get a prayer through.
Yes, ma'am.
Tomica could get a prayer through and God heard her. And there were times I was like, hey, Tomica, send this one up. Because I know he listened to you. May not always listen to me, but I know he hears you.
Girl, if you only had met Tomica as somebody who prays, this would give you the impression that God is a genie, because everything that she would say, especially if she asked for it in your life, like if she got something from him and it's like, you gonna walk down the street and find $20. And you would walk down the street and find $20. And then she would joke and be like, now, Lord, why can't I say I want to walk down the street and find $20? And it's like, but the awareness and discernment that existed within that woman was just purely unfathomable. It was like God's love, man.
Tomica was an angel unaware.
Yeah.
She reminded me of that show, Touched by an Angel. That
yes.
was one of my favorites. She was an angel among us.
She was Della Reese out here.
She was Della.
I will share, and just to piggyback off your story about the $20, I remember Tomica saying something about $100. We were out somewhere and
we was at the club.
We was at the club. Well, she manifested it. It was like somebody gave her $100, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with her. But I just made a quick list. Everything that everybody has said is just so spot on about her being just the glue. And it's even tough for me to talk to everybody kind of in a group setting just without her. It
Without
just
her.
seems to
Yeah.
be like, whew. And then kind of a side story, um, at the services that you had here locally, I was a little jealous. I was like, I thought I was that special. To Tomica. Tomica has touched the lives of so many people that it just wow. And exactly what Sinitra is saying, like an angel unaware, just how she was able to minister to people and to pull people into God without, being the traditional, just being super traditional. She was not that. Um, so I remember taking hugs from her. Like I say take because she would never willingly give them. I would take them.
You would have to, honey, if you wanted one.
Yep. And then she'd tell me to go, Salisha, now go.
She knew she was so powerful. She didn't want
Yep.
to joke you.
Yep. Her smile, like her smile to me, like, and to hear her laugh, it just was so rich like that. It just really would draw you in. And her honesty. Now she was super easy going, but she'll let you know. Like, now, Felicia, you wrong for that. I'm telling you, you wrong. Just straight up unfiltered. Like everybody's saying, super unfiltered. And I was like, you know what? I feel a sense of conviction. Okay, all right. Point heeded. Point taken. Spinach artichoke dip. She always made. That was really good. Completely random stuff. The Book of James.
Yes.
When she would recite that, like,
yes,
inspired me. Her quitting cigarettes, her weight loss journey, and just being along for the ride, and just seeing the results, and just her testimony overall, just being present for that. So I greatly it's missed.
Girl, I didn't think my grandma was ever gonna quit cigarettes, but when Tomica quit, she got my grandma to quit.
And she did get my grandma to quit.
That was amazing to me. Like I think that's one of those testament things to just that light. And I think, Toya, what's funny about that is I think we all say that. Like me and Sarita definitely say it to each other all the time, which is I be waking up and then I just be like, she gone? Like, is it like, God, what, like when we just random moments, I just wake up and I sit there and it's like, I don't think it definitely don't rest on my spirit at any point, because it, even in every place, like you said, I'm just like, yeah, she and I'm glad that I have this visual in my head. She just gone on vacation. Like she gonna come back and tell me about her vacation at some point, and it's all gonna be good. Even if it's in a dream, just let me know what you got going on, how you doing, and the light that I think she gave everybody is a blessing into itself. I am appreciative for the time that was bestowed upon us by that angel, because it is informing us to move to the places that we need to move. Glue can hold things together, but when it's time for you to move, it's time for you to move. We were held in a pot so we could grow. We were nourished by the things that y'all did in your Bible study. Like even us outside of it, as you grew us. I grew into a better man, into a husband, and seeing y'all's families grow and everything else that happened around y'all. I grew in understanding the spirit and how things go. And that's all in that next phase of where we're going and how we're going is walking that purpose. She is still praying and interceding for us. She's just directly talking to him now, which is even more power than we thought she had here. And we have to remember that there were things that she told each one of us about whose we are in our original design and the things he wants us to be. And the best way to honor that, like immediately when I knew when it was gone, like I think about 2 or 3 months after that, we took our trip up here to Washington before I moved or whatever. And it was the first week that I've been able to like really work on music since like before I got married. And the first time that I walked in and started writing and finished the album is done now. It's coming out in April, but that was like, I gotta do it. You know, you gotta see me connect with all these people. And I think for each and every one of us, there's something that she prayed on you for. She told you that you were great at. Let's do it. And I don't want to, we shouldn't waste any more time on that. It's not saying we're going to get it perfect. It's not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but keep it in your heart, and we'll always be praying for that. But I just wanted to encourage each and every one of you with whatever she gave you, whatever gift she spoke upon you, whatever encouraging words she gave you about something that you told her you wanted to do, and her encouraging and telling you could do it. Remember that is still true. So.
Thank you, brother, for your inspirational words and pep talk. I think, Sinitra, you had unmuted. I didn't know if you wanted to say something before I hopped onto my next soapbox. If not,
I was just gonna say, I remember her being the challenge queen and literally conquering every challenge, and I really admired and respected that about her, like to the highest degree.
that is very true. I was talking to my cousins this week, and she was like, Tomica would have had us on some kind of challenge at this point.
Yep.
I was like, well, I ain't her.
Conquered it.
Mm-hmm. Some sort of difficult challenge that we wouldn't have been eating nothing but grass and flowers before Thanksgiving and drinking water, like a half a cup of water, not a full cup.
Very true. She was like, let's do a challenge. How about we not? How about that? That's the challenge. How about the challenge be that we don't do challenges? How about that? Okay, so I want to say this. In the very first Bible study we ever did, was Esther. And one of the tagline that's always stood out to me, and I think for all of us, is for such a time as this. We were created for such a time as this. We have purpose for such a time as this. And I think it was also in that Bible study that she talks about the fact that each and every one of us we're living books of the Bible. Our lives, our stories, we're the living epistles, in church talk, like who we are matters. I'm the book of Sarita, you're the book of Toya, the book of Celicia, the book of Sinitra, the book of Chantel. So we all have stories, and our stories have purpose, and they matter to the kingdom. Now, everybody may not read your book and your story, but I think that is one thing that stood out in my mind when Tomica passed away. Like, her story is finished, like from cover to cover, and she did what the Lord called her to do. And I'm thankful that He allowed me the opportunity to know her and to see her story play out, and to see how He moved in her life, and to see how He answered her prayers, and to see how she was obedient to Him. I will say this, and I've said it before, like that last year of her life, I saw her really lean into what God wanted for her. And I saw God really lean back into her and really pour into her and bless her. And beyond really, her wildest dreams and her, everything she asked, He was pouring into her. And so I'm thankful that I got to see that. And I'm thankful that I get to continue to be a part of your books, that I'm still a part of your lives, and it ain't finished. He ain't put the period at the end.
Amen.
We're still moving, we're still growing, we're still changing. And I'm excited to see all the great things that God is going to do in each and every one of your lives. And I'm so thankful that y'all were willing to come on the podcast today just to share some stories, share a little bit about yourselves. Like, this is the 99th Bible Study Girl podcast. This was not listen to me. This right here wasn't in my plans, and y'all talked about obedience, and thank you for your obedience. And I'm real disobedient. So
she big hard-headed.
I am disobedient, but I will say that every time I've been obedient to God, He has blessed me tremendously, given me things I didn't even know I needed, really helped my life. And so hold on to your seatbelts. I have an announcement. Are you ready? Look at how Chantel looking at me. She like, I don't think we finna be friends no more. And everybody is wondering, what is my announcement? And cause y'all looking at me like,
I know what the announcement is, but go ahead.
Yeah, Joe knows what the announcement is.
You're all good.
But
You're
it's a big deal.
We can. Don't release the pearls. Don't clutch them. She's not being crazy today.
I'm not being crazy today. But the announcement is, we talked about obedience, and I feel like that was definitely confirmation for me. Like, just be obedient. You need to be obedient. You need to be doing what I told you to do. And I told Chantel, like, I feel like God is laying things on my heart, but I don't want to do that. And so how do you know that's His voice? Because this ain't me. This ain't what I want. And I was like, so just pray for me, friend, because I don't know. Anyway, long story short, long story less long. I'm being my brother. I'm dragging it out, but I am going to be obedient. But I want you guys to be the first to know that Bible Study Girl is writing a Bible study.
Get this. Get the drink champs clapping now.
So, friend, you don't have to. You thought you was going to have to disown me?
No, yes, but I want to say congratulations. That's great news. I'm excited for you.
She's like, I'll take that over the rest of the mess you be telling me and them other announcements.
Yep.
Right.
Oh man.
So this is not something I've taken too lightly. It's not something that is of me and something that I want to do, but He's given me the tools to do it. I'm going to use the tools He's given me. I don't feel equipped for it, but He doesn't call the qualified, man. He qualifies the called. So just be in prayer with me as I work through this Bible study writing journey, and we'll see where it leads. But I definitely wanted to share it with y'all first. You're the first ones to know, other than my brother. Because I was in deep prayer about it.
We did a whole fast in behind.
I'm talking about fasting and praying. I was like, I don't think this him, dog. Like,
and I said the biggest thing that's funny about, like, I think the hardest part that we were talking about, like, about Tomica being gone sometimes, is that continual, that loud voice of confirmation. So, like, y'all would be thinking stuff during the week. You would talk to her about something that had nothing to do with whatever it was that you had been thinking about. And she would say something, and it would just be like, all right, God, come on, man. You ain't got to, why you got to use your servant like this? You could have given me confirmation in a sandwich or something more pleasant. But I'm thankful that you are listening and finally seeing some of the things, because you still got a lot of things, or we all do, that was seen from us, from her, that God wants us to do. And this is a big, huge undertaking, but we want to be able to allow people to do the same things that you 6 amazingly just powerful Black women did, which was walk close with God and form your relationship. You didn't form a group think relationship. You didn't form a they think so I think relationship. You formed a I test that which you present to me. I test it through your word. I test it through how you confirm things for me, and the world, my sister, and just everything is appreciative of that, because you are obedient. You were just as obedient as you say Sarita to be by going. You didn't go off, end up getting caught up in a whale. You were not Jonah. You went. And that is something that is powerful. It is something we talk about all the time. This is a pure example. You have people that came from different places who, if they told you how they met and the circumstances that had to come together for them to meet, you would know how real God is. And it's the testimony of each of these individuals that shows that our walks are similar no matter how unique we are. And this is how we continue walking.
Thank you, brother. So thank you, ladies, for walking on this journey with me. Continue to keep your crazy friend in prayer. That's me, the crazy friend. Continue to keep your crazy friend in prayer. And like Joe kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'm really thankful that I'm able to be open and honest with y'all, and that we're able to share life together, the good and the bad, and to walk through the hard times together. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have y'all for that. I think one push I always make is that you should find your group. And it's probably not going to be in the walls of your church. It's probably not going to be the ladies you go to church with every week, or the fellas, or whoever. I mean, it doesn't just have to be same sex. You know, we did not go to church together. I think that's one thing Tomica, Toya, and myself did, but everybody else went their own way and did their own thing. And I think for me, I think one of the great things about our group is that we didn't meet in the four walls of the church. We met in home in real life. And that's what was so impactful for me. And that we were able to be open and honest. And I'm always pushing for people to find your tribe. Like, you may have to be the one that started it, but find it.
This is where Toya was supposed to come in and be like, where two or more are gathered, so is the Lord.
And I was that, like, you know, Celicia hit on it.
Y'all go get off me, okay?
No, we're not. Felicia hit on it. The first meeting, it wasn't like a Hollywood romance. We weren't all just like, oh, this is perfect. It's love at first sight. It grew. And I think that's what any healthy relationship does. It grows over time, because you have to build trust with people. And I'm thankful that we were able to get through the awkward first dates and really get down into a real serious committed relationship. Because I appreciate y'all. Y'all have been standing with me and riding with me for years, even though we don't get together all the time. When's the last time we did the last Bible study we did was right before Tomica passed. And we finished I think we probably finished like in November, right? And she died in January. But other than that, we hadn't done Bible studies together in years, but the bond still stands, you know, even though we don't talk to each other all the time. We text maybe once every 6 months, and, you know, but it's not because we don't like each other. It's just, you know, life has seasons and phases. So I'm thankful that even through all the different seasons of life, I know that I have y'all, and I'm really, really grateful for you. And I want y'all to know that. And brother, I'm running on E, and I thank you for all of your commentary throughout this whole beautiful podcast. We've made it. You know, Tomica used to have a dry erase board at her house, Road to 199, for her weight loss journey. Y'all, we done made it to 99, and we crossed it over to 100 if the Lord say the same. So thank you for being a part of the journey to 100 for us.
We are very appreciative to each and every one of you. This is an amazing episode. You all were amazing. There is no person that didn't speak from where you needed to speak. You were glorious and amazing and equipped and well qualified for this, for such a time as this. And so,
very good.
So,
let me say this before I fade into the background. Anybody else want to say anything? Any closing words? I'm giving you your opportunity, because some people might decide they don't ever want to podcast again. So, hey, the floor is open. You can say your closing marks before he get a benediction, because he gonna give it. I'm done after this.
I want to close by saying, I want to give you your flowers too, Bible study brother. You're awesome. And well done, Tomica Christ. I don't know if y'all remember that, but she called herself Tomica Christ. Well done. Good seeing y'all.
Good to see you too, friend.
So I do my little thing. So we are thankful that you guys are riding along on this journey with us. If you want to hit us up on the socials, you can do so on Twitter at Bible Study Girl the number 2 on Instagram at _Bible Study Girl. On Facebook, our Facebook page is growing and glowing. On YouTube, because I know you guys are going out there and subscribing, and you're probably seeing shorts and things from us right now. Before we get our visual aspect, you're going to be able to go to youtube.com/Bible Study Girl very soon. I'm going to at least make a link that you guys will be able to go to from there. And remember, it is not wallowing in sin that preaches, but we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching.